What's up, you guys? Happy Monday. I am so excited to jump on here and talk today a little bit about mindset. I posted a question on my Instagram asking you guys what you wanted to know when it comes to your mindset, whether in prep, out of prep, life season, improvement season, just overall general fitness goals. And I got quite a few questions. I will say almost all of them had to do with reversing and post-show and improvement season. So basically life and mental status after prep, which honestly for me is the hardest part. Definitely much harder than actual prep. So I am outside today. It's not too bad. I just got done meal prepping for the week, just drinking my water, had some check-ins today. And I was supposed to be out of town, so I actually didn't realize I didn't have any posing appointments scheduled. So my afternoon was pretty free. So yeah, this works out great. I can jump on and do this. Adam and I have been cleaning through the house. We're going to be moving at the end of the year into the what used to be prep house, which we're currently remodeling all the way through, inside, outside, everything. So that has been fun. It's been something to keep busy, something to kind of entertain during the improvement season and break up the day-to-day, like kind of normal stuff. So that's exciting. But yeah, today's been pretty chill. Mondays are my off days. It's usually my busiest work day because I do all my check-ins. It's my heaviest check-in day, like 15 or 16 girls, and then I usually have at least 4 posing appointments, and then my cardio too. So I use that as my off day, and I personally like to schedule my off day right before I do check-ins on Tuesday morning, because then my body is the least inflamed, it's the most rested. My off days are also my low days, so it's my lower calorie, and my body can just kind of adjust and reset for my check-in on Tuesday morning for the best possible outcome, which also helps my mental status, mental clarity throughout improvement season. So that's just a little bit of what's going on. But hear my dog, she's sneaking out on the other side. She is crazy. So first things first, yeah, I may not make it very long out here. It is a little warmer than I thought it was going to be, but the natural light is very pretty, very welcoming on the video. And since I decided to do this video today and not yesterday, whenever I had all my nice makeup on, I was not going to put makeup back on. But this video is all about mindset and kind of just being comfortable in your own skin. And I think if you can get to where you're confident without, your hair all done up and your, full face of makeup on and everything, that's a really good place to be. So staying focused in improvement season when the goal show date event on the calendar is far away. So I know this one can be really hard for people because when you're in prep, you're like full on prep mode. You have that date nailed down, 12 weeks, 10 weeks, 8 weeks, 6 weeks, like each week is getting closer. You're getting more excited, a little bit of anxious, little nerves, but you're pumped. You're so ready to go. And you have something to look forward to. But I always relate it back to like this video I watched of Jordan Peterson, and he talks about how like we can't just focus our whole lives on, those couple big events in the year. We have to get to where we love the day-to-day. I related it to something as simple as like brushing your teeth. Like, are you happy when you brush your teeth, or are you like dreading it? Do you appreciate being able to do your laundry and you're thankful for like the clothes that you have, or are you just like, oh my gosh, I have to do this, I have to do that? So to round that back around to the question, he's relaying it to like, you have to really enjoy and learn how to love just the day-to-day little things, your daily routine, because that is what makes up like 90% of your life. That show day is one day, and then it's gone. And maybe you'll do more shows or whatever, but the point is like, if you stack it all up to that one day, yeah, you're definitely gonna fall hard after. You're gonna be let down because it goes by like that so fast. I relate that to like whenever people have like their wedding day and this buildup of like, 8 months, a year of like planning all of this, and then it's over. That's why people have almost like a small depression. It's like they just lost something after, which is why post-show blues is such a thing, because most people emphasize the show date and the actual show day itself so much higher than like the day-to-day to get there. So whenever you're talking about staying focused in improvement season, if you're the type of person where you need that goal, I always tell girls, 6 to 8 weeks after your show, book a photo shoot. Already have it on the calendar, already have it lined up, already pay for it, like set it all up so then you can't back out of it. One, that's gonna help you stay on track on your reverse because you're gonna wanna look good for that photo shoot. But two, it's like a little mini stepping stone to like help yourself have something to look forward to after the show. That, of course it isn't another show, but it gives you something to like set your mind on, set a goal on, kind of transition out of that prep phase and feel a little less anxiety as you go on. As you continue to get farther away from that show date, you get deeper into improvement season, start focusing on other goals. My big thing when I'm in improvement season, I'm a big let's try to push heavy weights. Like I want to set those PRs. I want to see how strong I can get. I want to see how heavy I can push. So I really like shift my focus to that. And, even when your event is like far off into the future, like I'm not going to be back on stage again probably till like the end of next April, maybe next May, and my last show is May 19th. I'm already like 18 weeks into improvement season, and I have another 8 months before I'm on stage, and there are some days that I struggle with that, and I'm like, man, I'm just not bored, but like for lack of a better word, like I'm bored. I just I'm watching all these shows, I'm getting FOMO, like I'm bummed that I can't be on stage, but I remind myself, the longer I take off, the more improved I'm going to be when I come back to stage. I go in every leg day, I kid you not, and I tell myself on every set that is hard, this is a workout that's going to help you make it to the Olympia. This is a workout that's going to help you grow your glutes and build your shoulders and improve your physique where you need it, and improve what the judges gave you for feedback. This is the workout. This is the one. And I say that every single workout I go into because that's my goal. And even though my goal is far away, if I didn't have that goal and I didn't give myself enough time to make improvements to get to that goal, then I would just be sitting around not really having any motivation to do it. So I know it can be hard to stay focused on that, but you have to remember short-term goals are great, but the long-term goals, the long game is where it's at. So try to set little, small milestones, set your PRs in the gym, set, photo shoot dates, set maybe, getting, a little bit more in shape for like a vacation or something like that. That's how, I would recommend kind of staying a little bit more focused whenever you're in that long improvement season. Other ones, the best way to manage fixture weight fluctuations after a few binges into your reverse diet. So, reverse dieting, I think, is harder than anything. I think it's harder than prep. I think it's harder than eating 900 calories, doing 3 hours of cardio for 14 weeks. That's what I did last spring before I came to Team Elite. My body just, wasn't responding to anything. That was a very difficult prep. But my point being is, I think reversing is the hardest thing you'll do as a competitor, in my view. So this has been by far my best reverse I have ever had. Last year was pretty good. I did have a few binges last year. I struggled with eating disorders in high school. Not really so much like binging, purging, just more like not eating, more on the anorexia side of things. I would go all day long without eating, go through a 3-hour volleyball practice, run 8 miles after, and go home and eat a very small amount for, dinner, and then do it all again, like every single day. I graduated high school 5'10" and 120 pounds. I was so skinny, not an ounce of muscle to my name. So I struggled with that a lot. Through the years of competing, it definitely, for me, it helped my issues with some of the eating disorders, because it gave me a purpose for gaining weight, purposefully gaining weight in my first improvement season, blew my mind. It was crazy. I gained the most weight, about 20 pounds in that improvement season, but it was the most muscle I put on in that 8-month period out of all of my bodybuilding, which is generally what happens in that first year that you really go in and you start lifting. It's like those newbie gains. But I was eating almost 3,000 calories a day. It was crazy. But I had a few episodes then too, but last year when I had those binges, I struggled up and down quite a bit. I actually ended up taking Celeste's food relationship class with her for 5 weeks, and that was super beneficial, really helpful. So I recommend, if you guys are struggling with that kind of stuff, to hit her up. She can really help you kind of work on your relationship with food. And honestly, it can be something that can take a couple years for you to work on, especially if you've had a history of issues with eating disorders or bad relationships with food. So last year, anytime that would happen, I got to where, after doing the class with Celeste, I would stop myself, and I wouldn't do the whole punishment thing where it's okay, now you have to go do hours and hours of extra cardio and starve yourself for 3 days after, and just so many self-sabotaging things. I was okay, it happened. I would tell 1 or 2 people that were close to me, my friend Savannah, my sister. If I binged, went over, and had any issues after, so I would say it out loud to someone else to actually verbalize that it happened. And then, I would give myself a little bit of grace and understand, okay, I can't keep doing this. This is not good for me. This is not healthy. And then I would just reset from that point on. Even if it was the middle of the day, I would just go back to my normal meals. I wouldn't cut out food. I wouldn't drop calories. I wouldn't go do hours of cardio. And then, I might increase my water intake. I might do a couple extra salt baths. I might go on an extra walk or 2, but not for cardio punishment. I would do it for just movement, steps, digestion, mental health, getting out in the sun. That's kind of what I would do, and I would just get back on track. And most of the time, after a couple of days, your weight will level right back out, and you'll be fine, But I will say, if you binge, for a span of multiple days or even a week at a time, you might gain some weight that honestly just is not going to come back off until you go to prep again, because there is a certain point where your body's not going to drop back down. So if you binge for a straight week and you gain 10, 12 pounds, likely not all of that is coming back off, but that doesn't mean you have to continue going at that rate. Anytime I would do it, I would stop at that day, and I would be okay, I can't let myself do this. I have to reset, restart. Tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow is always a new day. So don't let one bad day turn into a bad week or a bad month, or just, giving up and throwing in the towel altogether. So that's what I would recommend. If you have, a binge and you go off plan or anything, just stop, take a deep breath, think about why you binged. Are you stressed? Were you tired? Was there something going on? Did you have a fight with someone? Are you over emotional? do something to shift your mindset into almost like whatever your version of meditation is. Like for me, I'll get those like adult coloring books. I know it sounds silly, but you know, the mandalays or whatever they call them, and I'll sit there and just color for like an hour and let my mind just rest, relax, reset, and then I just start fresh tomorrow. Increase my water, take the salt baths, increase my daily steps, not like cardio, but like just activity in general to help my digestion, and just reset, restart, and go from there. So that is my suggestion when it comes to binges in your reverse diet and everything. So mental tricks you use to reverse well, what helps you stay on track for a reverse, post-show rebound, which kind of went over that with like the binging. That's kind of the same topic. So, you know, if you rebound after your show, and sometimes people don't binge at all and they just rebound whenever they start increasing calories. So, you know, make sure you tell your coach that you're really concerned about, you know, the possible rebound if that's something that you know your body like struggles with, and you know, go very, very low, very slow. So increase calories very, very slowly, and you know, decrease cardio very, very slowly. So as far as, let's see, what helps you stay on track for reverse, mental tricks you use to reverse well. So when it comes to reversing, this year especially, because I wanted to stay within a certain level, like I didn't want to go over like 4 or 5 pounds within the first 2 months of my reverse, and I actually executed that successfully, which is the first time that has ever happened. But I really, really prioritized, well, so many things. So first off, I treat reverse just like prep. I enjoyed my post-show meal. I enjoyed like kind of an intuitive day Sunday, and then Monday I was right back on track. I got on my plan. I followed my reverse calories. I, you know, followed my cardio. I didn't take a week off from the gym or just completely stop my cardio and activity. Like, you just can't do that. Your body is too susceptible to like post-show weight gain if you just say, oh, I'm so tired, you know, so much like so much anxiety and excitement and everything leading up to it, adrenaline, and now I just need to like take a week off. Because I've had people do that. I've had friends do that. I've had, you know, just so many people I've heard of doing that, and then they gain that initial weight instantly in that first week or two. So go back to your workouts, go back to your cardio, go back to your reverse plan, and make sure that you have a reverse diet. If your coach is not giving you a reverse diet plan, that is a concern. So if they don't already have, you know, a plan for like calories, or they don't have you checking in on Monday, like that following Monday after a show, to you know, update your calories and get a reverse plan going, then you need to ask them about that. That is a huge thing, and is honestly more important than like prep half the time, especially like getting your body to normalize. So yeah, make sure you have a reverse calorie plan set in place. Stick to your cardio, stick to your workouts. If you went and you enjoyed after the show, that's great. You should celebrate. You should be proud of the accomplishment that you just made. But don't go crazy. Don't make yourself miserable or sick. I've been there. I've done it all. I've done the terrible reverses. I've done the crazy binging after shows, and I felt miserable. And luckily, I don't do that anymore, thank goodness. And this year, I actually have not had any crazy like binging episodes, which is probably the first year in a long time that I can say that. So it's taken me a couple years to get to this point. So make sure, like I said before, give yourself some grace. It's a process, especially if this is something that you struggle with. Anyways, when it comes to, again, the relationship with food. But so treat your reverse just like prep. You know, if there are certain things that you know you're craving or wanting post-show, like if, you know, you want to incorporate Kodiak cakes back into your meal plan and you're desperate to have them, or like you just want chicken so bad instead of your extra lean meat, or, you know, something like that, make sure you let your coach know. That's not a guarantee that they're going to be able to instantly put that in the first week, but they can make note of it. They can take that into consideration whenever they're increasing your calories and whenever they're making changes to your meal plan from week to week, and get some things in your plan that you enjoy and you like to eat, so it's easier to stay on track with your plan. If you had some extra food, utilize that in your workouts. Like, go in, shoot for some PRs. You should have that spike of energy and strength, and you're done with your show and your body's recovering. Like, use that extra energy and strength to push hard in the gym. So those are kind of just my first initial tricks. And then the further you get into your reverse, you can start adding in a little bit of leniency and incorporating a little bit of like fun things here and there. But I will say, always be real with your coach. Like, if you went over and you're up in your weight, let them know. As females, we're gonna have some fluctuations after competitions anyways. Your hormones are going to be regulating. You're probably going to start to get your cycle back. You're going to gain some weight from that, water weight, bloating, all the things. So make sure you let your coach know that. If you're on your cycle, you just started one back after your show and you increased 3 pounds that week, like, let them know, hey, I'm on my cycle, like, whatever, because that's going to help them know that, like, you stayed on track, but your body is like struggling to adapt to all the hormones that are coming back in. So just being like open and transparent with your coach will really help in a reverse as well. Switching your focus off the scale in improvement season. So that the scale is a tool. So in prep, it is important that the scale is dropping and that the measurements are dropping, for sure. It's also important how you look in your pictures, because ultimately the judges aren't going to make you step on a scale before you get on stage and be like, oh, well, you didn't drop that last 2 pounds. So, they're ultimately looking at what you look like. So what does your physique look like? Does it look the part? Does it fit what we need it to? So remember, the scale is a tool, but it's not everything. I used to struggle very, very bad with the scale. I didn't weigh myself for 2 years. I actually did my prep for my pro card all the way in without ever weighing myself. Just went off of pictures, which is not the most accurate, but it definitely worked, stayed on point. But being able to track the scale and the measurements now is much more helpful, and honestly, it's good for my head too. So this is gonna sound kind of crazy, and I know it makes it sound like I'm not switching my focus off the scale, but in a way I am. I'm using the scale daily, but I'm switching my focus of what I'm like, how much stock I'm putting into that number. So literally for the last year, almost in 2 weeks, it'll be a full year, I have weighed myself daily. But I have also recorded all kinds of details each time I weighed. Did I do a leg day, an upper body day? Was I extra sore? Was I stressed? Was I over emotional? Was I on my cycle? Did I eat off plan? Did I have a meal out? Did I have a refeed? Did I get good sleep? Was I crazy busy at work? Did I travel? All of these things I have wrote down, and I have now been able to pinpoint, one, foods that my body do and like does and does not work well with. Two, things that vastly affect my weight and things that I thought would but don't. Three, I've been able to track the fluctuations even going into my cycle. This is a huge one because I didn't realize that my weight spikes at least a full week before I start my cycle, and it stays up literally until my cycle is done. So my weight is elevated for about 2 weeks higher than what it normally runs the rest of the month. Because before I didn't realize that it lasted that long, and I thought I was doing something wrong, even though I was following the plan and eating my foods and doing my cardio and all these things. But yeah, I've tracked and I've put into detail, and of course I still take what the scale says into consideration. Like if I jump 4 pounds from check-in to check-in and I haven't changed anything too crazy, like yeah, I'm gonna be a little concerned. But You know, if I have my refeed and we have a meal out instead of cooking it at home, and I gain, 2.5, 3 pounds, or if I have any rice-based product, I've learned in the last year or so that I don't respond well to rice. I'll gain 2 to 4 pounds, and then my body slowly loses it after like 1 to 3 days. So I still weigh myself daily, but I don't freak out if the scale goes up. As long as I'm following the plan, not doing anything crazy, I'm getting in super hard and heavy workouts, which the last 2 months I have been pushing PRs and heavy leg days every day. So honestly, I'm just constantly sore and inflamed. So, I am now, I think 18 weeks post show, and I'm about 9 pounds up, which there's days where I'm like, man, that's a lot. I feel like a loser, whatever. And then there's days where I'm like, 18 weeks, it's almost, what is that? 4.5 months. That's pretty good. 9 pounds, pretty decent. I'm still holding my shape and my lines and everything. So, now I don't recommend that everybody does that, especially if the scale is one of those things that like really messes with your head. So, my advice is to really, really work daily on switching your mindset. So, don't think about the fact that you gained 2 or 3 pounds in the first couple weeks after a show. Think about, wow, my energy is up. This is awesome. My strength, I am lifting twice as much as I was like a month ago. My sleep, man, I'm sleeping so good because I'm not going to bed like starving. My skin is looking better because I'm eating a little bit higher fats. My hair is growing, better. Like I'm feeling better. My emotions are more stable. My body is balancing out hormonally. This is great. I was super happy when I got my cycle back because I knew that meant my body was really reaching a good level of like hormones and just health. So switching your focus in the improvement season, it can be hard, and honestly it took me about 2.5 months to like fully like be okay with seeing the scale go up a little bit and everything. But I am the strongest I've ever been. I've never been lifting the weights close to it, but like I've definitely hit PRs on almost everything that I'm lifting right now. And I know that's because my food is up, my strength is up, my energy is up. I am, a couple of months into my improvement season, and I'm like, there are days where I'm like, man, I just want show day to get here. But then there are also days where I'm like, man, I have 5 more months left to hit it this hard and to keep growing and building. Like, how cool is that? Like, I know as hard as I'm pushing and working that I'm going to come back 10 times better next year. And I'm going to know it's because I put in the work and the effort every day in my improvement season. Because prep has its own like perks and fun, but prep is not where the progress is made. Improvement season is where the progress is made. So that is pretty much what I have. Like, all of the questions that I got in were all almost similar and all about reversing an improvement season. Hopefully that all didn't sound like just a jumbled mess of talking, and it was beneficial for you guys. But yeah, just remember, whenever you're in your improvement season, that it can seem daunting and long and pointless, and you're gonna have ups and downs and days where you just don't feel like doing it. But again, like I said, improvement season is where the true progress is made. You have to set those goals. You have to have those dreams. Some people may think they're unrealistic, and maybe they are. I don't know. I have a dream of going to the Olympia. I'm taller. You don't see many girls who are 5'10". I don't have the muscle yet that I need. Maybe it is totally unrealistic for me to think I could ever qualify and make it. But if I don't have that goal or that dream, what else am I gonna do? I already work out. I already eat healthy. I love to compete. Like, why not set your goals as high as you can? That's kind of my mindset and motto. I used to not think that way. I used to be like, oh, there's no point in like saying, oh, I'm going to set this goal and hope that I can reach it, or maybe I will one day. I'd be like, no, that's totally unrealistic. Like, I'll never make it. I even thought that way getting my pro card. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to beat out all those other girls in the height class, because the age class is like 5'7" and up. I'm like, I'm a taller girl. Like, there's no way the taller girl is going to beat that out. And then I started like thinking slowly, I'm like, why not me? Like, if it's gonna be someone else, why can't it be me too? And that's how recently, and honestly, this improvement season, it's been a struggle to get to this point. I'm not gonna lie to you guys and say it's been easy. It's the best reverse I've done as far as staying on track and staying consistent, and like my weight, like very, very slowly, gradually going up. Like, I'm very proud of like how well I've reversed, but mentally it has been just as hard, maybe harder than the others, because I had this goal set so high to make it to the Olympia this year, and I didn't make it. And I thought for the longest time, for 2.5 months or so after the show, that I failed. But I didn't fail, I just didn't reach my goal yet, and maybe I never will. But each improvement season I go into, you better believe I'm going to push, and I'm going to do everything I can to work towards achieving that goal. Because everyone has to have a dream. Everyone has to have goals in life. Because if you don't, then the day-to-day really does turn completely pointless if you don't have something to look forward to. So, I think in your improvement season, make those vision boards. If you're a visual person, if you're crafty, creative, like, put it on your wall, stare at it every day, get those reminders set up on your phone, make your phone background like a picture of the next show you want to do, or the Olympia sign. I don't know, maybe it's your dream to make it to the Olympia one day too. Shoot for that dream. There's nothing that can go wrong shooting for a dream, other than you just don't get to it yet, or maybe never. But that's the worst thing that can happen, so you might as well try for it. So try to keep that vision and that mental mindset each day in your improvement season. When you go in the gym to lift, when you go in to get your workout in, when you go to eat something you're not supposed to, or just don't feel like doing anything that day or following the plan. Think about your goal, think about the long term, envision that dream that you have in your mind, and do everything you need to execute achieving that dream. So, I know that got a little far out there on the end, but I've really been thinking about this a lot lately. Honestly, in the last couple of weeks, my mental my mindset, mental clarity has really shifted and improved myself. And so I hope that, going through some of this can help you guys kind of shift your mindset in your improvement season, and, really focus on enjoying it. Enjoy relaxing and being, a little at ease for a while in life. Enjoy a little bit more time with your family, or a refeed every couple weeks out with them, or knowing that you'll be able to, enjoy a holiday or two this fall without having to, bring your Tupperware along. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I've prepped through holidays and brought my own food and done all the things, but enjoy the season that you're in, because then when you're in the next one, you're just gonna be wishing for the old season back. When you're in prep, you're like, oh, I can't wait to eat. When you're in improvement season, I can't wait to get on stage. You just have to start living in the present, the present moment, because you can't replay yesterday, and you don't know that tomorrow is going to be there. So be the best that you can be on the day that you're in, and work as hard as you can that day. And I have full faith that it will get you where you want to go. So those are my kind of mindset, mental tips, kind of insight to reversing and improvement season and everything. So Let me know if you have any more in-depth, detailed questions. Pretty much everybody was just like reversing improvement season, so there's my nutshell over it. If you guys like this video, be sure to thumbs up, leave a comment below on what you want to see next, and thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you guys soon.